Hi, Andrew Seltz here, and today I'm going to have to do a little bit of repair work on my Black & Decker mm1800 electric mower. It's a corded mower. I've had it now, I'm going on my third season with it, and it's done pretty well for me. But one of the things I've discovered about it is it does require some maintenance. You don't have to tote around gasoline, change spark plugs, that kind of thing. You know, air filters and whatnot, but you do have to do a little bit of maintenance, and it's a little bit different than a gasoline mower, so it takes a little getting used to. So what I need to do today is I need to replace the fan. There's a fan bracket, looks like this here. I need to replace this underneath, and then there's a little plastic lock washer as well that goes basically between the mower motor and the blade, and I need to replace those because some of these little fins have broken off. They're kind of delicate. They do all right, but if you hit a rock or anything like that, it's real important to watch for obstructions when you're mowing, because anything bouncing around in there can break off these fins. They're made out of ABS plastic, but it will break. And after hitting a few rocks and things in my yard, I've torn it up, and that throws the blade off balance and causes the mower to shake pretty bad. So we're going to flip it over and take a look underneath. Now I'm going to show you the assembly. Basically where these two pieces go is right down here underneath the blade, and the blade is a floating blade, which means that it's not connected to the shaft the way the blade on a gasoline mower would be. It actually is held onto the top of this bracket by just compression and friction, and if it were to hit an obstacle, it would just spin around on top instead of locking up. And the reason for that is because if a regular mower locks up like that, the motor will just stop running because it won't pull any more fuel into the motor, and the motor will seize up on you. But with an electric mower, if it seizes up like that, what you'll end up doing is it'll overheat. Electricity will build up, it'll overheat, and it will actually cause some major damage to the motor, and it can also blow fuses and things like that. So as a protection, that blade is designed to float freely around. Takes a little getting used to make that shift, because I've worked with gas mowers mostly before. So it makes it a little bit different to get the mower blade off. Instead of just putting a block down to a block of wood to hold the blade from spinning, you actually have to grab on with a pair of pliers onto this little washer nut. So we'll take a look at that as I pull it apart. Now grab a hold of this with a pair of channel locks, and then work it loose here. Get that nut all the way off. Then the whole assembly comes off. The blade pops off of that. And then finally you take this off, and you can see how mine's been broken and snapped here, and it shakes like mad when the mower is turned on. So I give this a quick clean out. Nothing too bad. And then place the new fan here, blades face down, onto the shaft. Get my blade back on there. And let's see, we'll get it nice and set up and centered there. Then the washer goes on top of that. And there's a little groove in here, so you want the groove basically to line up with the edge of the blade. Then you put your metal washer back on that, and it's going to sit inside. It's going to sit inside this shaft, and it's got a little key on it here, so you'll kind of have to spin the whole assembly around until it all lines up on the shaft. And then replace the nut. Grab your channel locks and your wrench again. And give everything a good snug tightening down here. and we're done, and it's ready to go. Now you do want to check all your fittings, make sure everything's lined up and tight. Check all your clearances, you know, give it a good spin and make sure everything is moving cleanly, and then you can plug it back in and give it a test. I've had it, like I said, going on 3 seasons now. I've been pretty happy with the way this works. You know, there's lots of trade-offs as far as don't have to deal with all the engine oil and transmission and gasoline storage and all that kind of stuff. So you save on that end, but then you got to lug around cords and do these replacements every year or so. These are not terribly expensive, a couple dollars for this washer, about $7 or $8 I think it was for this. All told with taxes and shipping and everything from the official Black & Decker website, I think this cost me $21, $22 to buy one. Probably a good idea to go ahead and stock up a little bit, get a few of them, because you will need to replace them probably once every year or two, just because, you know, those rock dings do take out those blades pretty bad, as you can see here. So it's important to make sure that you do keep this in good shape, though, because these fan blades are what keeps the motor from overheating when you're using it. So that's all there is to it. I hope that helped you, and happy mowing.